We have the latest on the road closures on campus.
We learn more about how to march with the Fallen Soldiers 5K this weekend.
And we'll head over to Hanson Field for Fields of Faith. Welcome to News 3. I'm Samantha Haney.
And I'm Dana Matson.
Tonight, we pay respects to Jane Goodall, who was a pioneer in anthropology. Her 6 decades of research advanced our understanding of our evolutionary history. We pay tribute to her legacy this evening.
Jane Goodall's love of animals began at an early age.
I was told that I was watching earthworms before I could talk.
As a child growing up in World War II London, she escaped into books about Dr. Dolittle and Tarzan.
My dream when I was 11 years old, I will grow up, go to Africa, live with animals and write books about them. And of course everybody laughed at me. We didn't have any money. And finally I was the wrong sex. Girls didn't do that sort of thing.
But that didn't matter to legendary paleontologist Louis Leakey. After hiring Goodall as his assistant, he sent her to what is now Tanzania in 1960 to study chimpanzees in the wild. With no formal scientific education, Goodall conducted her research unlike anyone else, giving the chimps names, observing human-like behavior, even gaining acceptance into chimp society. Her unconventional methods led to several landmark discoveries, among them that chimps use tools and ate meat just like us. Her findings forced scientists to redefine humankind and reconsider what really separated us from our closest cousins.
They are not just objects, not just things, that they have personalities, minds and feelings.
Goodall would earn a PhD from Cambridge University and be named a Dame of the British Empire. And through her institute, she became a tireless advocate for animal rights and the environment. One of Goodall's proudest accomplishments, creating a youth program called Roots and Shoots.
To bring up generations of children around the world to be better stewards of the planet and to be more loving of each other.
Even in her later years, Goodall spent 300 days a year on the road preaching her message. But no matter where she went, nature was never far from her mind.
Wherever I am, I can close my eyes and imagine myself in the forest, living with the most fascinating beings, out in the forests I dreamed of, doing some writing, which I love, a little bit of teaching, which I enjoy. I mean, what better life could anybody have?
Construction on the Banfield has led to road closures shutting down the intersection between West Adams and Northwestern Avenue. News 3 reporter Kobe Blackmon sits with Deputy Director of Facilities Management Ted Reiner.
Construction on the Banfield has led to road closures shutting down the intersection between West Adams and Northwestern Avenue. I got the chance to speak with Deputy Director of Facilities Management Ted Reiner.
So the Banfield work is in conjunction with the Center for Performing Arts. When you have a building like that takes up space where, you know, otherwise rain and you know, water would be able to soak into the ground, well, now it's running off, right? So what we have to do is that rainwater, or that runoff water, will be sent to Lake Ruth, and then from Lake Ruth there was already piping that channeled it across the Banfield, and then once it crossed the Banfield and across the neighbor's property, it just naturally emptied into a stream. That's typical for stormwater. But because we've increased the volume, we had to increase the size of the piping that went down there. So this is just supplemental drainage, is what that work is. Unfortunately, that's the easiest way for it to go, and we had to tear up the Banfield in doing that.
Reiner also gives a timeline on when the intersection should reopen.
We have gotten the piping across there. They are going to pour concrete back this week, and then the idea is that at some point on Friday that intersection will reopen, and it shouldn't have to close again as part of this project.
Because of the construction, Reiner also highlights when the band can return to the field to practice.
So they should be done doing the work by the end of the semester. Now, Obviously, depending on kind of when they can get all of the equipment and the materials off the band field, they may be able to get grass to regrow starting this semester or starting this fall, so that it can be used again in the spring. But if not, they'll be able to get out there and plant early in the spring, and then band field should be returned to normal.
I'm Kobe Blackmon, reporting for News 3.
Noah Stevens sat down with licensed psychologist Christy Keefe to talk about the new hotline run by the Department of Psychology.
On Monday, September 30th, 2025, I had the chance to go down to Wagner Hall to speak with Christy Keefe about the student hotline services.
The student hotline is a student-run and staffed paraprofessional support line. And it has two different branches. One, we have a call center where students go through a semester of training in active listening skills, helping skills, and general knowledge about mental health and crises. They receive class credit. It's 2 hours a week, so they get role play training. And then they are then qualified as volunteers for the student line. Those students are then staffing that line between 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. Every day the residence halls are open, meaning that if you wanted to call during that time, any student, community member, staff, and would like to seek anonymous, confidential, supportive help and support, there would be a paraprofessionally trained volunteer at the end. So we have our phone services, but we also do another branch called peer support counseling. That is some of the best trained students and volunteers that we have go through, they're selected from the hotline group that received the paraprofessional training. They go on to receive a little bit of extra training and ongoing supervision and guidance to meet face-to-face with students. They're open from 4 to 7 p.m., located in the library 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and they see one-on-one individual appointments to offer students that same connection and support.
For more information about this, you can call the hotline at 988, or you can call the Department of Psychology at 309-298-3211 or 309-298-1593. Reporting for News 3, I'm Noah Stevens.
We will have more News 3 after the break.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Larry used to come over to watch the games. After his wife passed, he started drinking a lot. Larry just stayed to himself, angry. He started acting differently. I wasn't going to pretend I didn't see him unraveling. Larry had guns around, and I didn't want anything bad to happen. So I contacted the local authorities for help. It was a tough call. Together, we pressed pause. Our local authorities filed a firearm restraining order to temporarily remove the guns. Larry had time to get help, and later, he got his guns back. It wasn't easy, but we're a community. We keep our neighbors and ourselves from harm. By temporarily removing a gun, a firearm restraining order gives a person in crisis time to heal. Learn more at illinois.gov/pause to heal.
Grit. It's that thing inside of you that ignites passion and empowers you to envision a world full of possibility. At Western Illinois University, leathernecks are made with this grit. It starts here, in this field, in this room, on this court, and in this lab. We refuse to blend in because our purple stands out.
Welcome back to News 3. I'm Anthony Steinhoff. The 14th annual Fallen Soldiers 5K will be taking place this Saturday at the Campus Rec Center. Keaton Thompson and Razine Williams took off running to meet with Drew Donahue, one of the coordinators of the event, to learn more.
The Fallen Soldiers 5K is taking place this Saturday, October 4th at 9 a.m. This event is hosted by the university to raise funds for the WIU Fallen Soldiers Scholarship. This goes to enrolled service members and veterans at WIU. Razine Williams and I sat down with Drew Donahue, the Western Illinois Director of Donor Relations, Special Events, and Alumni Relations.
So the Fallen Soldiers 5K and the Fallen Soldiers Scholarship Fund are named after two WIU alumni who were killed in action. One, Derek Dobagai, and then the second is Robert Baldwin. They both graduated from Western and then were in the military, engaged in active duty at the time of their deaths. The event itself is pretty much the same year to year. We do an opening ceremony to start the event. That takes place in the rec center, where we recognize the two fallen soldiers as well as recognize the scholarship recipients for the year. What I like most about the event is the unique elements of the 5K. It's a little bit more than just a run. Obviously, many 5Ks out there go toward a good cause, but I think what sets this event apart is the opening ceremony component that we have, the way that we try to build some history and recognition into that opening ceremony, honoring our alumni, honoring our current students who received the Fallen Soldiers Scholarship, and kind of setting a nice tone for the race itself. And it's just always a beautiful day. Even on the rainy years, it's a beautiful morning. I just think it's a nice event that we produce for the university. We always see great support from the community as well as the university itself, and it's just a great way to spend a Saturday morning.
Registration is open to the public until the beginning of the event on Saturday. For News 3, with the help of Razine Williams, I'm Keith.
A big gathering on the football field that's not football related. News 3 reporter Aiden Dersine got the chance to check out FCA's Fields of Faith event.
The Fellowship of Christian Athletes hosted their third annual Fields of Faith event, where over 100 athletes and students came for a night of fellowship as they worshiped the name of Jesus. I spoke to FCA President Aubrey Brombaugh, who walked me through a lot of different things for the event, including the preparation involved for this event and what they were trying to accomplish.
Just a lot of communication. I went and talked to all of the head coaches. I tried to talk to all of the athletes, all the people in different religious organizations on campus, and really just spread the word. But I think the biggest thing I had to do this year is just lots and lots of prayer, and I really saw God move and work through that. I really want everyone to feel welcome here, no matter what your denomination is, no matter what your sport is, anything. I just want everyone to feel welcome because we are all one big family in Christ.
Fields of Faith had live worship from a local church, 3 student athletes giving their testimonies, and also a gospel message from a student athlete. Aubrey tells me what these testimonies can do for students.
I think that the main thing is we're all human. We all make the same mistakes. So whether you're an athlete or you're not an athlete, we all need Jesus. And I think that's the root of all of these stories. And so even if there's some sports involved, at the end of the day, we're all sinners and we all need saved.
While student athletes had the opportunity to get personal and pray for students, Aubrey tells me her favorite part of the event.
My favorite part is definitely just joining together at the end of the night on the field, everyone linking arms in prayer. It's just the most beautiful thing.
The Fields of Faith event happens every semester, but the Fellowship of Christian Athletes hosts weekly meetings at Western Hall on Mondays. This is Aubrey's message for people who are interested.
Yes, please come to FCA. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you at the next Fields of Faith. Literally come. We'd love to have you. You're welcome. Yeah. Reporting for News 3, I'm Aiden Dersine.
A WIU professor's journey started in rural Ireland and led him to Macomb. Tonight we will hear how Niall Hartnett's story of resilience and relationships continue to inspire students under the umbrella of Purple and Gold. Our reporter Spencer Andrew has the story.
At Western Illinois University, students know that academic success means more than just grades. It's about community, guidance, and finding your place. For psychology majors and so many others, that sense of belonging comes from one person, advising director Neil Hartnett.
Well, I grew up in rural Limerick in the 1970s, and it was pretty poor, honestly. Education was important to me as well. I mean, my parents didn't go to college, but they were important that both me and my sister would go to college. I think was always an assumption. And so, actually, my beginnings in elementary school, or the equivalent in Ireland, I was not a good student, but my sister helped me at one point, and then once I got to high school, I pretty much got a lot better at school and was always kind of more academically inclined from then on.
It's that global experience and a passion for people that led Neil from Ireland to the US and ultimately to Western. But it was a unique style of advising that made his greatest mark on students.
To me, building a relationship is the most important thing. If you do that well, everything else falls into place.
Students and faculty alike praise his commitment. Neil's door is always open, whether it's picking out classes, navigating challenges, or just listening when times get tough.
I always say to students, though, always first your health, always first your family. Third, education, because if you aren't healthy or there's a huge crisis going on in your family, you're probably not going to do the best education you ever could.
Along the way, Neil's earned recognition, Advisor of the Month, and the 2022 Outstanding Academic Advisory Award, but his greatest pride is the relationships he's built.
Truly, so many of us work hard here that, when I got my 2022 award, I was like, great, that's as high as you can go on the awards. I don't need any more awards. So actually, when I received this recent one, I was a little embarrassed, to be honest, as I'm sure people would bear witness to at the time. Everybody needs to be congratulated for continuing success and give it a boost, So it doesn't need to be an award. It could be just somebody saying, have a nice day, or thanking you. And that's the biggest award I usually get from my students or my colleagues, is like, thank you for something, or well done. I don't need a plaque. But it's nice. On the other hand, sure. I mean, it's nice to have accomplishments. I say to every student, college should not just be work, it should be fun as well. So I do tend to promote the organizations at Western, which I think we're above 200 options still. We're all people together under one purple umbrella, right? And I think we just need to remember that at any given time, or that snapshot in time, we are one family working for a common good.
For students across campus, Neil Hartnett is more than an advisor. He's a mentor, a listener, and a true leatherneck. For News 3, I'm Spencer Andrew.
Our weatherneck Andy Mulligan will join us after the break for an update on the weather. We'll be right back.
Our story began with a spark that started on the prairies of Western Illinois. From a bell tower which stood as a new beacon of knowledge for all to see, to the cranes that swing over campus today, advancing our vision to inspire, educate, and lead. That spark ignited a legacy of students using their talents and perseverance to make the world a better place in ways big and small. In this 125th year, we celebrate the remarkable journey of Western Illinois University, a milestone marked by dedication, boundless ambition, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. We have pushed the envelope far beyond what our founders could have imagined. We have broken new ground, set records, and made discoveries. Whatever challenges we have faced over the years, we grow stronger from them and evolve. We remain devoted to our fighting leatherneck spirit, the spirit of the underdog that fuels creativity, generosity, and determination. Leathernecks can be found in communities across the state, the country, and the world, doing their part to be a positive force wherever they go. Today, in Macomb and the Quad Cities, students from all walks of life meet to share ideas and aspirations. Our students bring new perspectives and aim to be part of something bigger than themselves. The Leatherneck legacy lives inside these walls and in all of us. Together, we are marching on.
Hello, Macomb.
I'm Andy Mulligan, and this is your weather for the week. Currently outside, it is unseasonably warm for this time of year, in the upper 80s, albeit with fall-like humidity. Our current headlines: this weekend and the first half of next week will have unseasonably warm temperatures, possibly even touching into the 90s before bringing some fall-like chill in the second half of the week. Looking at our future radar, you can see some spots of rain over in our neighboring states, here and there and whatever, but don't get too excited. Nothing is going to touch us anytime soon. Our lawns will stay dry. Tonight, we'll have upper 60s and perfect leave the window open sleeping weather, and tomorrow we'll be hovering just around the 90 mark all over. Specifically in Macomb tonight, we'll have a clear starry sky, 62 degrees with a gentle southerly wind, and tomorrow an unseasonable and uncomfortable 90 degrees with little wind to amend it. In review, no precipitation in sight for our future, with sun and clear skies all throughout. But for you fall heads who want an excuse for pumpkin spice, you may get one later next week. That's all for weather, Macomb. Now stay tuned for sports.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills.
Next. We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. This puts them at increased risk for type 2 diabetes, heart attack, and kidney disease. The good news? Prediabetes can be reversed. Follow along with this 1-minute risk test to learn your risk for prediabetes. Are you over 40? That's 1 point. Over 50? That's another. Over 60? Add 1 more. If you're a man, give yourself a point. Family history of diabetes? Add a point. Have high blood pressure? Add another. Not physically active? That's a point. Are you slightly overweight? That's 1 point. Pretty overweight? That's 2. Very overweight? That's 3. A score of 5 or more means you likely have prediabetes, so talk with your doctor. Learn how you can change the outcome at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Welcome back. I'm Jane Castillo with your sports. Starting off on the hardwood, the WIU men's basketball team has released its season schedule. The team will open with 2 weeks on the road before returning home to face Coe College in the home opener. The slate also features a multi-team event with Coastal Carolina and North Dakota coming to Macomb. Conference play begins December 18th and runs through February 28th, with the conference tournament set for March 4th. On the women's side, Western Illinois guard Addie Brownfield has been accepted into the University of Missouri School of Medicine class of 2030, a biology major with minors in chemistry and psychology. Brownfield was admitted with a 3.98 GPA and a 513 MCAT score, outpacing the school's averages. Beyond the court, she has built an impressive resume through research, community service, physician shadowing, and volunteer work. Over on the gridiron, WIU football fell in its first conference matchup to in-state rival Eastern Illinois, 31-23, dropping to 1-4 on the season. The Panthers controlled the game on the ground with 239 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns, despite running 80 plays and holding the ball for more than 35 minutes. The Leathernecks couldn't close the gap, however. Freshman quarterback Kason Carswell threw 2 touchdowns to tight end Alex Williams, while Tristan Duncan led all receivers
receivers with 10 catches for 78 yards. Markwell Holman added 91 rushing yards, and kicker Antonio Chata was perfect with 3 field goals. Defensively, Melody Ta had an interception, and Kristen Pierce recorded a sack. The Next now hit the road to face Tennessee Tech this Saturday at noon. You can catch the game on ESPN+. We'll continue after the break.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
I'm worried about Mom.
Mom? She's fine. These are the ones, right, Mom?
Yeah, groundling.
Sweet potatoes.
Daddy, it's salty.
Some things come with age.
And some don't.
Early detection of Alzheimer's can lead to better care for your loved one. Learn the early warning signs at 10signs.org.
My name is Gary Parker. I served as a Cavalry Scout and a military policeman in the United States Army for 20 years. When I was a Cavalry Scout, we had a young lieutenant that came in, great guy, but he moved on, got promoted to lieutenant colonel, went on to Afghanistan, and I was able to keep in contact. And I wake up one morning, go on social media, and there's that post you don't want to see. For whatever reason, he took his own life. Nobody knows why he did it. And if there's something that we could have done to prevent it from happening, safe gun storage can prevent gun suicide, because it's that added step to get to your firearm that might just give somebody a moment of reflection on what they're doing. As a veteran, we need to be ambassadors to people that don't have the knowledge that we have. Anytime you're not storing a weapon safely, you're putting yourself and your community at risk. Service never stops.
Guess what time it is?
Wait, I know this one. National Daytime?
Yes, today is National Smarties Day.
Oh wow, like the candy?
Exactly. National Smarties Day is celebrated on October 2nd in honor of Edward D., the founder of Smarties. Today is his birthday, and although he is no longer alive, his granddaughters are now the co-presidents of the company, Smarties Candy Company.
So they're women and family run? That's really cool. I heard Smarties are different in Canada though.
You're right. In Canada, there is a different candy called Smarties that are round chocolate-covered candy in a shell made by Nestle. To navigate any confusion, Dee named Smarties Rockets in Canada. Both candies are made by the same company and are the same in almost every way, just with different titles.
Where did the name come from?
Great question. Dee was a Cambridge University graduate, so he wanted to call his candy Smarties to encourage people to pursue an education. They launched a Smarties Think campaign in 2013 to do just that.
I heard about that. They've donated around $200,000 through Donors Choose to provide school supplies. They also launched a Little Smarties campaign in 2017 that featured historical figures like Jane Goodall, Marie Curie, and Amelia Earhart.
That's the year the 3 co-presidents stepped up and it became a women-run company, so it's super fitting. Before we wrap up our show, I have a very important question for you.
Oh, what's that?
What flavors do you think Smarties are?
Honestly, I didn't know they had different flavors.
Yep, there are actually 6 different flavors. White is orange cream, yellow is pineapple, pink is cherry, green is strawberry, purple is grape, and orange is, of course, orange.
You heard it here from our local Smarties expert. Let's head over to our Smarty Pants weatherman, Andy Mulligan. What do you have for us tonight?
Well, it's not going to be raining Smarties. And by the way, they all taste like sugar. But it's going to be unseasonably warm for all of the weekend and early next weekend. And then after that, finally get into some fall weather.
And that's all for us today.
Well, we are online all the time.
Stay up to date with us on YouTube at News 3 WIU TV.
Like us on Facebook.
Stay tuned for the latest Leatherneck Insider Saturday at 9 on the WIU Sports Broadcasting YouTube.
You can also read new articles on the Courier.
From all of us here at News 3, have a good night, Macomb.